I think you did it.
I think we did it. Look at us.
We live?
We are
Sure.
live.
We're gonna figure this out one day, like confidently have this figured out in our heads, and it's gonna be great. You know what I mean? It's gonna be
Mm.
so good when it happens. So yeah, anyone on the YouTube world see us right now? I guess that's the question, right? Hello to everybody or nobody.
Let's see here.
Victory? Yes.
Yes,
All
yes.
right.
Michael's
We got
here.
it. We're
Melissa's
doing
here. We
it.
got people.
We
We
did
did
it. We
it.
did it to the right place. It's like, you know, like we're professionals. Almost.
Almost.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right. Well, how's it going?
Well, hello, YouTube land.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome. I'm really proud of ourselves today for accomplishing a very simple task, but we nailed it today. So this is awesome. All right. All right. So let's get rolling, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Hackle Box. I'm your host, Oscar, joined by the always wonderful Eric. How you doing today, Eric?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm very sore. I started my workout routine back up. So, if you see me creaking, cracking, just, ignore it, everybody. Okay. It's fine.
I can hear you cracking through my
Yeah.
microphone, man. So
You see me
yeah,
doing this a lot. It's just trying to, yeah, it's going to be okay. We're going to get
yeah,
there.
nice. So Pinky got called into jury duty today, so he will not be joining us. However, we got a special guest, and I just noticed it shows your name as Eric here on my Zoom, which is
Yeah.
funny,
Because you use
Corey.
my login.
Yeah. We're welcome everybody. Let's welcome Corey Hanks. Hey, Corey, how you doing, man?
Hey, doing well. Thanks for having me. Yeah, happy to step in for Pinky, who had the best story for not being here. It wasn't just he had to get to jury duty, but he also had to go find his truck and make sure that all the animal feces were out of the engine so he could make it to jury duty. So I thought that was very
Yeah.
Pinky.
It reminded me, I was talking to him about it yesterday, the old Jeff Foxworthy, he might be a redneck. And there was one, if you find a car when you're mowing your grass, that's you, Pink.
Yeah, he was explaining it to me, a situation around his truck or something in his yard. And it sounded like he was describing like a post-apocalyptic wasteland where like the plants have started taking over the vehicles in town or something like that. I was like, man, that sounds like a life right there. That sounds great.
Yeah, but we're proud
So
of Pink for doing his civic duty, and I'm happy to fill in for him.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So the truck did start and it did run, I'm hearing. So he made it there just fine.
Oh, that's good.
Awesome.
Good to know.
All right. Great, great. So we always like to start off with a fun topic. Thanksgiving's right around the corner. I'm actually going to be doing a little early Thanksgiving with my family this week. So question, what's your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
I'll go because it's easy. It's the dressing or the stuffing, depending on
Hmm.
your locale.
Yeah,
Then what kind of
yeah.
stuffing do you like, man? Is it a cornbread stuffing?
It can, I mean, I prefer just a regular old bread stuffing. You can use stale bread. It kind of works the best, I've found. It can be inside the bird or outside of the bird. It can be exotic. It can have cranberry sauce in it. It can be the cheap stovetop. Any of the boxes are really delicious. I just love stuffing, and I could eat it
Yeah.
just about any time of year.
Are you a gravy man too?
Hell yeah, brother. Give me that gravy.
Nice, nice. How about you, Eric?
Yeah, I love Thanksgiving. Can't wait.
I'll be honest. Thanksgiving dinner is not my favorite meal by any stretch of the imagination. I don't know what it is, but I mean, I'm like a potato fan in general. You know what I mean? So mashed potatoes or like sweet potato related
Mhm.
dishes and stuff like that. Big fan of all of them. Um, yeah.
Same question for
Love
you.
a
Are you a
good
gravy man?
yam.
I am not a gravy man. No.
Oh wow, wow.
No.
It
I don't
doesn't
think I've.
surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Corey took my favorite. It's definitely the stuffing, and I'm specifically cornbread stuffing is my favorite of the stuffing. I'm with you though. All the variations of stuffing are good. I'm not going to turn my nose up at any of them, but I'm a big fan of the cornbread stuffing. This year, I'm actually going to do a little smoked turkey, so I'm excited about that too. And
Nice.
I'm going to do a little like kind of a spicy smoked turkey. So we'll see how it goes. I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, let me know.
How are you planning on making it spicy? I'm curious what that
So
looks
I'm
like.
actually going to do. I actually got three whole breasts, and so I'm going to do breasts instead of the whole bird. But I'm brining them in essentially jalapeno juice. And so you take like you get the big cans of jalapenos, of carrots and onions and stuff in them. Dump that jalapeno juice in a Ziploc bag, seal it up, let it sit overnight, and sort of get a little bit of jalapeno kick. And then going to do like a Cajun spice rub on the turkey as well.
Hear me out. Since you have three of them, you should do one in habanero juice instead.
I don't have canned habaneros though, but that's a great idea. I do have like 5 pounds of habaneros in my freezer, so there's a possibility I could make something happen.
I'm just saying, habaneros are delicious, man. Thank God.
They
Hmm.
are.
Yeah, yeah. I have a friend out here I've made in Montana who like has been bringing me some vegetables and stuff like that, and he brought me literally like 5 pounds of habaneros. And so, what's
Good
the first
friend.
thing we did? Yeah, like, hey, let's see how hot these bad boys are. And Eric and I both just munched down on a whole one, and yeah, it was pleasant. It was delicious. It was a little spicy, but I love the
Cool.
flavor of habanero too.
Right on.
I will say chat's popping off about this, and yeah, I'm glad that Michelle's also not a gravy person. Thank you for seeing me and being like me. Okay, I
She's
appreciate
a
that.
Yankee.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. Takes all kinds. And then Michael's talking about fried turkey, man. I've never had fried turkey. I know it's
Oh, it's
popular. I've just never
yeah,
had
it's
it.
great. I've had
Yeah,
a deep fried turkey before, and good
it's
stuff.
delicious.
Yeah.
I got one more Thanksgiving question.
Oh my God.
Cranberry sauce. Are you pro cranberry sauce, or are you not a cranberry sauce lover?
I like to have one spoonful with the
Hmm.
rest of the meal. Kind of like a piece of ginger with your sushi. It's just a little palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could honestly take it or leave it. Like it's one of those things that I kind of forget about, so I often don't eat it. But
Hmm.
or where we just don't have it or something like that. You know what I mean? But I do like cranberry. I do. Yeah, it works. You know what I mean? Like it's enjoyable. I just don't normally have it.
Yeah, I like it. It's not a must have for me though. If it's on the table, I'm with you, Corey. I'm gonna have a spoonful. That's probably gonna be it. All right, let's dig right in. Let's start today off with our catch of the month, and there's actually two catches of the month this month. Did you guys hear about the Louvre crown jewel heist?
Yeah, how
Sure
did you
did.
not?
Yeah. Pretty interesting story. And, I don't know how much everybody knows about it. I don't know everything about it, but it sounds like there was, some robbers showed up in a truck. They'd identify an entry point in the balcony of the building. So the truck had some sort of lift. So they were able to lift themselves up, get onto the balcony. They were able to identify some blind spots in their CCTV, right? Quick in and out. They were in, stole over $100 million worth of crown jewels from the Louvre. They were only in the Louvre for 4 minutes, so this is a pretty well planned and executed attack. And then I guess the only thing that went wrong, they tried to like burn the truck or something like that, and I think that didn't actually burn. But then they made a quick escape on scooters, and I guess the scooters were in the truck. So I don't know why they chose scooters to escape. Maybe it's you could hit some alleys or something the
Split
truck
up
couldn't go in.
quickly.
Yeah, yeah, split up quickly and get out of there. But the big thing, and the reason we're talking about today is researchers discovered that the password to their CCTV system was actually Louvre. Um, okay. Then on top of that, and I don't know how this is related to the incident specifically, but I did read they were running like Windows Server 2003 in their environment as well. So a place like the Louvre, you would think would have pretty good security, but obviously they have some pretty poor cyber hygiene. So yeah.
Yeah,
Which was probably the genesis for the idea to do the attack, right? They probably found this weak password or old operating system, got in rather easily, and then said, hey, how could we use this access and knowledge to steal hundreds of millions of dollars worth of rocks?
Yeah. I
Maybe.
mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. Here's the thing. A lot of people are talking about the password thing, right? But the password thing comes from like pretty old data, right? Like it's like a security
Mhm.
audit in 2014 and then another one following in 2017 that people have gotten their hands on or some of the data's gotten out about. And so the question for me is like, are we making a really big deal about something that was it still there? I mean, like, has anyone confirmed for sure? I know some employees said like, yeah, I think it's still there, type of thing, but it
Mhm.
Well,
doesn't
there's
sound
at
like the
least a
cyber
3 year gap where they didn't change it.
Yeah,
between
yeah, no, for
2014
sure.
and
And it
17.
probably stayed longer, let's be honest, right? Because everybody's got some excuses to why you can't change something because it'll cause some problem. But I am just curious. I don't think it's related to the heist at all. I'll be honest. I think the heist is the only thing related to what I think about in my day-to-day life is the fact that a uh a construction jacket or a high vis, vest or something like that can get you in anywhere. You know what
Oh yeah,
I mean? Like
yeah.
everybody just ignores the guys going up in the vests up on the lift into the Louvre. You know what I mean? Like it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not sure it's related at all. And I mean, okay, the big thing they called out here, and I think why people are making that correlation is because there was a blind spot in CCTV. We know there was a
Hmm.
weak password on the CCTV, but also, anybody can access the Louvre, right? So they can go in there and they can physically identify where these blind spots are. Obviously, these folks were very familiar with the building, the layout, the rooms, where the jewels that were targeted were. So couldn't they have just walked in, had a peek around, and realized there was no cameras on this particular balcony for their point of ingress?
Yeah. I mean,
Possible. I mean, it also makes me think this could be an ex-employee, somebody who had time to walk
Yeah.
around and find this stuff and not worry about looking suspicious, you know?
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I imagine you on a given day at a museum like that, you have about 5,000 people who look suspicious, so you probably blend in anyway. Uh,
Right.
you know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
don't really know what foot traffic looks like in that building.
No, I say 5,000. I have no idea what the Louvre foot traffic looks like, but you get my point. Like walking around in a museum, you can case it pretty well. I mean, come on, we've all seen the movies, you know. Of
Yeah,
course, they got away on
yeah.
scooters. The cop car gets to
Yeah.
that narrow alley, and it's like, ah, I can't get in
I
there.
just recently watched Heat, and the burning of the vehicle and then running away in all different directions is straight out of that movie. Got to
Yeah,
burn the DNA evidence, you know.
yeah. It felt very. I mean, a lot of things feel very much like I'm hearing about a movie scene or something like that. Um,
Mhm.
Well, robbers have watched movies and they think, wouldn't that be cool, bro?
wouldn't it be cool?
Yeah, so what do they
uh,
do with the jewels now, right? So they're obviously going to try to resell these. And, there was like tiaras and brooches and earrings and all these things. So they're not going to be able to sell the jewels in their current setting, right? So are they going to pull the jewels? They're going to, send the gold, whatever the precious metals are to melt, get melt value for those. Or are they going to try to move these bad boys on the black market as is?
It probably use, I mean, I don't know. They'd probably use a fence to move them to the black market, take their hands off of it, you know, for
Hmm.
pennies on the dollar or dimes on the dollar. Or they could do like that lady in Titanic and just drop it in the water when they're 80 something years old.
that's the play right there. I stole it and I'm going to drop it in the water in 40 years.
Maybe they
Um,
just wanted to wear them. They're just sitting around their
Yeah,
house rocking the
maybe.
sweet tiara, these
yeah.
earrings. Yeah.
I mean, it was noted
Just
that in the heist, there was several like large diamonds and stuff in the room that were completely untouched. It seems like maybe, I mean,
Hmm.
maybe it was a targeted thing. Maybe there was a specific thing they were going for. I don't know. I don't know. Someone knows. It's not me.
return some rock to the homeland,
Yeah.
steal the rest to, you know,
Angry in
obfuscate the motive.
Angry intern does say that there's no indication that the CCTV system was breached, that basically there was one camera on the side of the museum that was pointed away from the window they used. Um, yeah, I think the question is like, did they know that because, I mean, just scouting the place and seeing it, did they know that because of getting into the CCTV system, or did they not know it at all and just got lucky? I mean, like, there's a lot of things about it. It's
Hmm.
obviously, though, I think, regardless of the heist itself, that security information coming out and then lasting and lasting is a good example of something we see a decent amount and people should not be doing. And that is kind of
Hmm.
like letting things just continue to slide, especially easily fixable things, potentially like passwords, like easy passwords or old operating system. I mean, I should say old operating systems aren't always easy to fix, but yeah,
Yeah, especially depending on the industry, right?
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool, cool. The other catch of the month, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but the Congressional Budget Office was hacked recently. A foreign actor hacked into the U.S. nonpartisan agency, the CBO, which is responsible for producing economic projections for Congress. So there's a wealth of economic data in there. Obviously, this incident occurred during the shutdown. So a lot of people are saying, is the shutdown related to this? We know that CISA's had a mass furlough throughout the organization. Budgets have been slashed. I think at this point, two-thirds of CISA have been furloughed. So a lot of people are pointing to that. What do you guys think? Do you think this is relation to the government shutdown, to the furloughs of CISA, or is this going to happen anyway, even if CISA is still rolling at full steam?
good chance it happens anyway, but
Yeah.
certainly doesn't help, right? I mean, any sort of 0 day that gets found and discovered, and they're sending out, manufactured notifications to customers and stuff. If there's no one at the controls to do anything with it, you're gonna expect to get hit, right? Anyone
Mhm.
with a 0 day on the internet who's not at the helm to do anything about it is going to get hit. It's just the way the internet works.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, and do we when I was looking into it, do we even know the initial vector
No,
per
we
se?
don't
I
know
mean, we don't know.
the vector.
I know that, I mean, obviously there's a breach of email and things like that, right? There are a lot of issue, or the concern is around communications, email chat histories,
Mhm.
things like that. Um, I did see some mention in an article about an outdated ASA firewall or something like that that hadn't been patched since 2024. So like a year out of patch or something like that. So there could be some vulnerabilities there. Probably not 0 day if the case, um, but I don't think we know. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
do I think it happens even if I don't? I do think it still happens. I do think that
Mhm.
um, you know, CISA is great, but I mean, there's lot to cover out there. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. I mean, it's unfortunate that this happened, obviously, but I don't think that CISA is fully operational right now that has any impact on this. I think they're still going to be targeted. They're still likely going to be successful during the attack as well. And so, yeah. All right. So, we got a phishing tip. I don't have notes on it. Pinky, Pinky sent us a note. It's like, hey, let's talk about scams and stuff. And Pinky's not here to talk about scams and stuff. But we know as we roll into the holiday season, we always talk about this. It's almost breach giving. Then we roll right into breachmas, and we see a lot of targeted scams on the rise right now. Specifically, there's a lot of fake help desk scams out there. I think, Corey, you've probably observed some of these. I know I've had family members that have been impacted by this. I'm sure we've all had family members that have been impacted by this. So just a reminder to stay diligent right now this time of the year. If you get, reached out to by someone pretending to be support or someone associated with Amazon or whatever, and asking you to install anything on your devices, let's not do that. Number one. I think the other thing too, we're seeing is like some topo squatting scams where, there are, threat actors that are standing up websites using topo squatting. That's very similar to like Amazon Prime Video or something like that. And so a lot of folks are searching to try to identify, a place to update their payment or something like that. And those are actually malicious scam sites, and they're unknowingly giving threat actors their credit card information, their personal information, and all those things. So let's be aware. Let's be diligent. The holiday season is upon us, and we expect that those types of scams and that activity is going to continue to rise over the next couple of months.
And
Yeah.
rise significantly, it just in numbers, right? We've seen a quantifiable increase this year over last year in those types of scans, in deep fake, AI assisted scams, all that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
Phishing has never been easier or faster. So if you don't trust the sender, or if you're not expecting the sender to send exactly what they're sending, assume it's bad, reach out to them via other means and confirm, that this is from who they claim to be.
Yeah, I would say too, like one of the things, something that came across my radar recently, which didn't surprise me, and it's not something new to me, but reminded me that other people might not be thinking about it, is that we constantly train in security awareness and stuff like that, like, hey, if you're not expecting this, or if if someone calls you or someone reaches out to you unexpectedly, right? Like you should be very wary of that. I don't think we often talk about like you should be wary of the things you're also reaching out about, right? And a good example of
Mhm.
this, I saw someone completely by happenstance very recently that we're talking about this now because I saw it like a few days ago. But some people were talking about how on some of the subreddits, on Reddit, where there were scammers who were going through and finding threads where people were talking about like name changes or something like that that need to be done on accounts, name changes for flight information or name changes for a college or whatever it might be, right? Like then, and they were posting things like, oh, you can use this link to contact support. Like, oh, I had the same problem. I needed to change my name because I got married or something like that. And this is the link that I use to contact support. And it's a scam link, or it's a scam, or you call
Mhm.
this phone number and they'll help you out. And it's a scam phone number. And so they're getting people that way. And a lot of people don't think about like, oh, I should double check this because someone didn't reach out to me. It doesn't feel suspicious. I'm going out, I'm
Yeah.
looking for information. I found the information. Let's utilize the information. And they're not thinking about like the fact that, yeah, scammers can be smart and they can go through and set up and plant data in places that you're looking for it to scam you.
Mhm.
I think of search engine optimization poisoning when you say that, but
Yeah.
also here lately we've seen that AI everyone is quick to use Chat GPT to get an answer to something, but depending on where it's pulling that information from, you could very well be led down a bad link, something
Yeah.
poisonous.
Oh, I've had different LLMs send me down bad, like send me links that I look at. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to that. You know what I mean? Just because
In
it,
addition to bad info.
yeah, it's just
Mhm.
pulling it the same place it pulls the bad info from. Some post somewhere where, I mean, you think about it, like if that post comes back from a scammer saying to call this phone number, it helps with that issue. And maybe that's posted in a few different places around that subreddit or something like that from older posts, and they get pulled up because they fit the most in that kind of rag query that goes into that LLM. It's going to have that data and be like, hey, multiple people are saying this phone number works for this thing. You should call it, right? You
Right.
can't trust it for sure.
All
It's good
right. Yeah. Good
advice.
stuff. Stay diligent out there. Don't click anything. I never click Reddit links, man. Never.
Click them all. Give them to
Yeah, I saw there was a recent article talking about how Chat AI was launching a browser despite finding, all of these findings, how the results, even when they put in guardrails and persistent red teaming, and they're doing all the right things, but it still is
Mhm.
giving bad information that they specifically are trying to protect against. But they're moving forward with their browser launch anyway. It's just like, all right, we got a
That's
bubble to fill, so.
it's the state of
Yeah.
the industry right now. Like, yes, we
Yeah.
Mhm.
know there are security issues. Yes, we know that they're unfixed. Doesn't matter. We have to get ahead of it. We have to be
Yeah,
the winners. We have to make the money, right?
Mhm.
And like,
yeah,
we can't be the 25th person to come out with an AI browser. We need to be the top five. You know what I mean? And so
yep,
everybody is ignoring the security implications. I could talk on hours for it, but it is definitely a concerning. I think, and I don't think anyone listening doesn't know that. You know what I mean? To be honest, I think we're a
Yeah.
lot of the people who are tuning to something like this know that LLM use right now, implementation into different products and stuff like that is being done very haphazardly, very recklessly.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it's like I talked about this example recently somewhere, but if you think about like the adoption of like new technologies, right? And this pace at which AI technologies have been adopted and fully integrated into businesses, like it's absurd. When email was first a thing, right? It was a decade or more before that became a business practice that we're now utilizing email as a primary function in our business. Like AI is like as soon as it hit the market, everybody's like, yes, give me that, give me that, give me that. And it's all about ease of use. We're throwing security out the window. Practicality is forgotten about. And it's just how can I make my life easier? How can I make my job easier? But we're not necessarily considering any of the risks associated with that. And I think we're going to see a lot of significant backlash and a lot of significant, detriment to that over the next couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, I think from the consumer side, it's easier and cheaper. And from the people implementing it, it's like I think there was this initial hesitance I saw from a lot of people, right, around when LLMs came out about implementing it. Do we
Hmm.
implement it into a product? Do we implement it into our business? Do we do these things? We should look into this. We should be careful. We should whatever. And then I think they just kept seeing everybody passing them by. And you know what I mean? Like you're
hmm
looking side to side and everyone's just like, yeah, AI, let's go, let's go. And you're like, am
Yeah.
I the idiot here? I guess so. We need to get in with this. We need to just
Hmm.
go. And
And that's
nobody else
been
seems
the narrative.
concerned. Yeah.
That's been the narrative of media too. Like if you're not implementing, you're going to get left behind. I mean, I hear it all the time. And so not only
Yeah.
that, like you see your peers and you see other businesses doing it, and then the media is telling you, you got to go do this right away. And so, yeah, people are making a rush to quick decisions that I think just needs a little more scrutiny.
Yeah. And it's just the nature of it though. We have to accept that that's how it's going to go and it's not we can't
Hmm.
change it. So it's just like, okay, let's roll with it and see what we can do with it. But
Yeah,
yeah.
buckle up.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think that
All
that
right.
is the
So,
biggest reason, right? The biggest reason that email implementation was so much slower than something like AI is because of the visibility of everyone around you moving to it, whether it's for the right decision or not. We haven't seen the
mhm.
consequences of it yet, so the lessons learned aren't necessarily slapping everyone in the face when they're making these decisions. It's
Hmm.
like you said, we're being left behind, so let's put our foot on the gas.
Yep.
What I'm curious about is so I don't know if anyone else's experience is the same. And I have teenage children, right? And I'm surprised that my teenage children are very much like they like AI doesn't exist almost to them, right? Like if I bring it up or talk about it, they're just like, I don't know about that AI crap. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they are like not adopters. teenager, like my teenage children at least. My teenage children spend a lot of time on the computer. A lot of people look at me and think I'm a bad parent for this. You know what I mean? But like that's just the reality. They spend a lot of time on technology devices. They're very, very in tune with it. They're very whatever. And they're very much just like, I don't nah, AI doesn't sound trustworthy to me. I don't mess with that.
Hmm.
You know, and it's like I'm
Yeah.
suggesting they do drugs when I talk about AI. They're just like, no, 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 no. So I wonder if that's like a thing in general, or if it's just my kids are weird. But I'm
Yeah,
curious.
I don't
My
know. Maybe
my little
maybe
brother's
folks could tell us in
13.
chat.
He
Yeah,
hasn't really, I would say he's not adopted it either. He kind of sees it as just another way to Google something and find
yeah,
what you're
Hmm.
looking for. But that's not his way of really ingesting the internet. That comes through like shorts and reels,
sure.
and feeds and stuff like that. So I think a lot of it is just they don't have a practical use for AI yet.
Hmm. All right, so we got a topic to dig into today. This is a good, it's a big one. There was an article that came out last week. It was published by kpbs.org. This article was essentially their interpretation of a study. But let's start with the title of the article. And this is what really made my blood boil when I seen this and heard about this. Study concludes that cybersecurity training doesn't work. Okay, you've piqued my interest here. That seems very dangerous. So it turns out the article is based upon a study. The study was executed by UC San Diego in conjunction with the University of Chicago and UC San Diego Health. And it was called Understanding the Efficacy of Phishing Training in Practice. And so essentially, this study focused on essentially around 20,000 targets within an organization. The organization was UC San Diego Health, and they essentially sent out phishing tests. They discovered if people failed those phishing tests, they would execute a training program. Then they would repeat the phishing tests, but they did have variations in the emails that were being used to phish, and try to determine if they could observe an improvement in the results after training and repeated phishing tests. I think the article kind of like summarizes that, the efficacy was minimal, right? And so I want to talk about that. We'll dig in and kind of rip this study apart a little bit today. But we'll start. What did you guys think when you seen this title? Study concludes that cybersecurity training doesn't work.
Well, it sounded like clickbait. So I just
Yeah,
looked up who
yeah.
owns KPBS. And it is owned by San Diego State University, and it's the what San Diego UC Health was the maybe I don't know, like maybe the results of said test were a motivating factor in framing the data this way.
Hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're trying to really
Yeah.
promote their data that this is excellent. They've done great research and they've proven that cybersecurity training doesn't work, which is absurd.
And that's why the results of our cyber training maybe were less than ideal, and we shouldn't have to
Mhm.
worry about that.
Yeah. We proved it's bad. We're not gonna bother.
We're not
Yeah.
going
Gonna
to
be
train
fine.
anymore.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I was just like, well, I mean, I guess my first instinct was like, well, we know that's not true. I mean,
Yeah.
I know we've worked as a company, and like our people on my team have worked with plenty of people who've seen increase after increase after increase. I mean, does it ever get perfect? Generally, no, but like it gets good, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, it gets resistant and resilient in some way. And then I immediately looked a little bit more and saw like it said like 200,000 users, something like that, large study. And look, don't get me wrong, 200,000 users is
It was
not, or
20K. Yeah,
20,000, sorry,
20K.
20,000.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say. 20,000 people is not that like small of amount, but at the same time, like when we're talking about phishing, I could fish 20,000 people by the end of this call, by the end of this
Yeah.
webinar, you know what I mean? Like 20,000
Yeah.
people is nothing, like
Hmm.
if we're going to collect data from multiple, like if you wanted to really do a study on this and work with, I mean, like get with a couple security firms like us or some other people and try to pull some data and work with some data, that's anonymous, but nonetheless, or whatever, redacted. But you get way more than 20,000. 20,000 is a small study when it comes to phishing, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
20,000
Like,
is
Hmm.
one domain, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
after digging a little bit more, realized, yeah, of course it's small. They did it with one organization, just UC
Hmm.
Health or whatever, right? And or San Diego, yeah, UC San Diego Health. And I was like, that's the example right here. So you have one organization that they didn't show improvement on, and we don't exactly know why. I haven't broken down the paper itself to see if they outlined the examples of exactly what phishing templates and stuff like that they were using, or how much variance there was there, et cetera. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. My first point, Eric, that I had noted here is like The pool size, I mean, 20K could be a decent pool size. And like you said, it's not a large, what I would consider a large pool size, but it could be a decent pool. However, it's just one organization, one sector. We're talking about one stinking business here, one sector. So this doesn't necessarily translate to corporate world or financial or manufacturing or government context, right? There's a lot of variation between those sectors and even just their basic hygiene and intelligence when it comes to identifying phishing attacks. But the big thing to me is they're saying like, okay, 90% of the users that they targeted didn't click, right? So it's 10%. So think about that. Now we're talking about a pool that's 20,000. Only 10% of that pool is actually, failing the test. So we're talking about 2,000 people there. But then also they did observe a 1 to 2 point decrease in the people that were, that went through the training or failed the first time, they didn't fail the second time. So there was nominal improvement there. When we think about a pool set this small and a study that's executed in this short of a time frame, like a 1 to 2% improvement is actually not that bad. It's pretty good. So you took your organization from 90 to 92%. Okay, what if we complete this over a 3-year, a 4-year, a 5-year time frame? Can we get that number to 97, 98%? We're never going to be at 100%. We know that. So even the data to me, when I read this, kind of disproves itself. Like you're showing effectiveness in some minimal degree. And so we're dismissing that even though it was minimal effectiveness, that, well, it doesn't work, right?
So
Yeah,
I
the
did, yeah.
minimal is what like it's the if you're an NFL fan, the commentators would say analytics say don't go for it. It's not worth the money because it's only getting
Mhm.
you a 1 or 2% increase.
Thankfully, it doesn't generally cost that much money to do phishing tests. So,
Mhm.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
I did see that one thing, one of the kind of, I don't know if it was in the headline or in the like first paragraph, but it said, um, in some cases may make it worse. Was there like one of the tests that they actually saw back an improvement, or not? I mean, not an improvement, like they saw
A
higher
worsening.
click rates, yeah, worsening of
Well,
the results.
yeah, it's so difficult because they used a different fish for each
Sure.
exercise. And so does that even correlate? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, maybe this is a more sophisticated fish, and so maybe they did
Yeah.
see the decrease in that particular study.
Yeah, that's the difficult thing is you have to really have some because you obviously don't want to run same this or send the same fish because then it's obviously gonna get
Mhm.
better. I mean, people are not
Right.
generally gonna fail the same thing multiple times, right?
Mhm.
If they're told that it was a fish later on or something like that, if they're trained properly on it. So yeah, you're gonna have to change it up, but depending on how you change it up, there's a certain amount of data that you just toss out because it's like, well, obviously there's going to be some variance, right? If you're seeing general improvements from time to time, it seems to suggest, especially if you're already at 90%, obviously the improvements are going to be small, right? If you
Yeah.
started at like, I don't know, 70% of people were clicking, you only had like a 30%, like a success rate, then on avoiding it, then you'd probably see drastic improvements after training, right? So it's kind of, yeah, silly.
Yeah,
That's a
it's a
good
good
point
point
too.
too. And another point I noted here is the quality of the training. Like what kind of measure was there for how good was the training? It seems like it was short snippets of training that they were using. So I would imagine a 2 to 3 minute, like here's a video you have to go watch because you clicked the link. And then even more
Hmm.
so, it was documented in the study that over 50% of the users quit the training within 10 seconds, meaning they didn't even go through the training, right? They got the link, they said, blah, I've been had, closed it, and they moved on. And so, like, again, we're saying training isn't effective, but we're using training with no sort of quality control. We don't know if this is good training, bad training. We know it's automated, and we know, in general, people don't like that sort of thing. We know it was a short snippet, and then we know people weren't engaging, right? So maybe a lack of engagement is a bigger problem here than the actual training itself. And I don't know, maybe the training was good, maybe it was bad, but if the users are only watching 10 seconds of a 3-second video, they're not even
Doesn't
receiving the
matter.
training. And so that, again, is manipulating the data set here.
Yeah.
Okay, another
Yeah,
thing
we've
I'd
all had
noted.
that type of we've all had that experience, right? Where you just can open a thing that you've seen within the last 6 months or a year. It's
Mhm.
probably the same training you got if you're a repeat clicker. And
Yeah.
also, I wonder about the frequency. Like, was the less successful one sent a week after they got this training? What's that going to look like 3 months from now? Kind of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But sorry, go ahead, Oscar.
Angry Intern says they've gotten feedback from their users that proves it does work and that reporting email or they report emails because you got me last time. I'm not taking any chances, which is fair enough.
That's the
Right.
way it's supposed. Yeah, that's the way you should treat it.
Yeah.
That's another key here that the study failed to account for. It only looked at click rate, right? And we know that's only one piece of the problem here, right? So they looked at click rate. They didn't look at any sort of secondary behaviors, meaning did they enter their credentials? Did they report the email? Maybe they clicked it, identified this as a phish, then they reported that, right?
Mhm.
So there's so many other like avenues to the study or data points that should have been included if you're trying to truly study the efficacy of training that we're just blind to and we're ignoring. So yeah, there's a lot of problems in
Yeah,
here.
maybe
Yeah,
clicks
if
only
you're
decreased by 1%, but maybe their report rate went up 40%. Like, who knows?
Right.
right, right, if you're a victim or if you receive a phishing email, you click on it and then you immediately disconnect from the network and call your help desk. That's a successful stop of a phish, click rate or not.
I just want to
All right.
shout out that I appreciate that the last time we did a phishing test internally at our company, I was traveling on vacation, so I didn't have a chance to click it. Winner. Just saying.
Good job, Eric.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, for everybody who didn't catch that, Eric's just saying when he's traveling or on vacation, he just auto deletes all his email, so he never even sees them.
No, and I don't delete them. I just don't read them. Okay. If someone bugs me later on, they're like, "Hey man, I sent you something a few weeks ago." I'm like, "Oh, did you? Whoops."
I was obviously on vacation and I don't read those emails. You
Yeah,
better send me another
those
email, man.
basically didn't happen. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
It's there. You've got a history of it. You can find it if it's important later.
yeah, I only delete it later when I want to say I didn't get it. I don't delete it immediately when I'm on
Yeah.
vacation.
All right. So another big problem I had here, and I'm kind of hogging the problems I got, and you guys will have a chance here.
No, it grinds
That's
my
your own.
gears.
Is there was no correlation to actual incidents in the organization, right? So, okay, you're saying that your study and your test, you only observed a 1 to 2% improvement, right? But what about actual incidents? Like how many users are actually clicking phishing emails? How many are being reported? How many incidents have you had related to somebody clicking a phishing link? And over time, are you tracking? Did it have an impact on that or did it not have an impact? Because that's the true goal here, right? The training is one piece. We want to improve those training scores. But like I've always said, if you get to a point where you've got a 100% success rate on your phishing test, well, try harder. You're not doing good enough, right? Let's keep elevating the sophistication of those. But the goal isn't to get a perfect score. The goal is to reduce the likelihood of real incidents in the organization. So there's no
Mhm.
correlation there. And again, this is a bogus study.
Yeah, that goal gets lost, right? Because you're really just talking about percentages. And also, this overlooks the fact that cybersecurity is so much more than just phishing. And also that
Hmm.
phishing comes in so many other forms, not just emails with a bad link in there.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you hit on a point, Oscar, too, that I think just I always want to stress to people in general, and that is like the general purpose of any cybersecurity related engagement or thing that you do is should not be about the score. It really
Yeah.
should not. It should not be looking at the percentage of click-through rate necessarily. Like, yes, that is useful to see like us quantify certain things and stuff like that. But the goal of doing a thing from one after another, whether it be a pen test or whatever, is not to be like we got less things. It's just to continually look at where the shortcomings are, fix those things, and just continue makes continual improvement. I think so many people get lost
Hmm.
in scores, get lost in something. I mean, like we can't, if you look at like a pen test or anything like that, like there are differing factors. The context is generally different. The surrounding situation is different the next year or the next time you do this. There might be new
Hmm.
vulnerabilities that came out that just happened to be coincidentally in that environment. We can't sit there and go, well, oh, we're doing worse as a security team because someone got farther in a pen test or because someone got more clicks this time. It could just be that there's changes that just happen to be or make an environment or people more susceptible at that time. And so just
Hmm.
take that and go, hey, I'm glad we figured out what's those things that are getting through because of the susceptibility. Let's fix them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric, I think that numbers game, just sitting here, while you're talking, thinking about it, has a lot to do with just education about the threats that these organizations face and leadership. They don't really know what the threat, or they don't know how these attacks could or would manifest. So they're relying entirely on understanding how secure they are or aren't by looking at these numbers. And
Yep.
they say, oh, well, if we get 100, then that means we're perfectly secure. We're Fort Knox. No one's ever going to get in, which is
Hmm.
not the case ever. Within even Fort Knox is not 100% secure.
Yeah. Which is
Yeah, the
another
Louvre isn't.
example of
Look at
cyber
the Louvre.
awareness. Yeah.
And some training of all things could potentially help with that.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of getting to. It's like that's another example of some cyber awareness training that we like that's not talking about phishing, but like in training some of these people to be aware of what this all means, you know what I mean? And having these
Mhm.
conversations and stuff like that can be very helpful. I mean, anytime I hear someone who's asking about a score or asking about comparisons about things, I mean, obviously you try to oblige and give them the thing because you're not going to just sit there and try to get on your soapbox and tell everybody they shouldn't worry about the thing they're worried about, but like then try to steer the conversation toward the real things we should be thinking about, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. All right. We got any questions in the chat, Eric? I've been ignoring the chat the
Yeah,
entire
you guys have
episode.
definitely been ignoring the chat, but I've been reading it here and there. I mean, there's a lot of just general chatter. I will say, Gamer's Basement said, "I made it, Corey, earlier, and are you proud of me?" So I don't know who Gamer's Basement is, but they made it,
Nice.
Corey.
Oh,
Are you proud of
buddy
them?
from Chicago. Hey.
There you go. Heck yeah, they've been participating in here, and yeah, numbers or metrics are for senior leaderships to feel good. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what they get used for. Did we have any questions?
Is
Not
AI security
really.
needed? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I mean, which part are we saying? Do we need AI to secure us, or do we need security around AI? Because that's two separate questions.
An AI
Probably both.
assessment, if you're going to do like an implementation of AI into your business, which so many are doing right now, some sort of assessment before you take that step is definitely recommended. Maybe we could get on our soapbox and talk about why you shouldn't do it, but a lot of times these decisions are not these listeners' decisions to make. This is coming from leadership. So if you do have to deal with that, my sympathies, but also get an assessment before you press the power button on that thing.
Yeah, I mean, really, just understanding what you're integrating, the data points it has access to, then doing testing on the model once it's in place, and understanding if you can extract data that shouldn't be extracted, if you're able to manipulate the model, introduce bias, and so on. So, yeah, there's a lot of points you should be considering if you're working through AI integrations in your workspace.
For sure.
I'm looking. I think that's the only question. All right, guys, we are going to wrap a little bit early today. So appreciate everybody hopping on. Hey, let's all give ourselves a pat on the back. We did it. We live streamed to YouTube. It went perfectly. But
Yeah.
thanks to everybody. Thank you guys for joining me. Thanks to everybody for listening. I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy some time with your family and friends. Enjoy some good food. Eat too much. Wear your stretchy pants. Take it easy. It's the one day a year we all get a pass. And so, otherwise, we'll see you guys in a month. Thanks.
Now we'll see if we can close it down.